Tips. I'm Jo, and today we are joined with a special guest. This is Jason from Real Meals. So Jason has been with Real Meals since the beginning, since it started.
Good morning.
Right?
Yep, since the beginning, since the launch.
Awesome.
Yep.
So Jason's gonna, I've got a few questions for Jason today. So he's gonna just chat to us a little bit about Real Meals, about his journey, and how all of one of our favourite freeze-dried meals are made, which are made here in Nelson. So Jason, tell us a bit about Real Meals.
Real Meals. Well, what do? We make real meals. The way that we make the meals is effectively the same way that you would make them at home on a slightly larger scale. So we're not just adding components together. We're not just putting dried components into a bag and mixing it like Lego. We're cooking it out to develop flavours. So like the chicken curry, for example, we're toasting off the spices, we're sauteing off the onions, we're getting the chicken in there, we're adding the coconut cream, we're cooking it up and we're tasting it as we go, which sounds really crazy, right? Because it's a meal, so you've got to taste it, you've got to know what it tastes like and season it as you go. And that's what we do. So we just do it on a larger scale that you would do at home, but we are making a meal.
Yeah, perfect. And Real Meals has been going for how long now?
Launched in 2021 as Real Meals. So I'm entering my 5th year now.
Yeah, you've been
the
there
company.
since the beginning.
Since the beginning, yeah. Since we were just an empty shell of a building, basically. There was just 2 of us. There was just Hayley and I working there. Now there's 9 of us working there. We've got somebody out on the road doing sales, and we've got Marcella in the office and the whole team in the kitchen.
How many of you are in the kitchen?
So there's 3 of us. There's Darren, Tina and myself.
Yeah.
And then in packing, there's another 4 in the packing team as well, but they tend to interchange a little bit. So we've trained everybody up so that everybody can work everywhere. Yeah, it's a small team. Yeah, you've got to. Yeah, and it keeps everybody interested and excited as well.
Yeah, then you get to do a little bit of everything. Don't
That's
you?
right. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. And so whereabouts are you? Like, what's your kitchen? Where's your kitchen?
We're in Stoke.
Yeah.
We like to fly under the radar, so you won't drive through Stoke and see a big Real Meal sign. We've got our kitchen and our packing area, our packing facility out there. It's quite small, and we've grown a lot in the last 4 years, but we've just sort of making the most of the space we've got. Yeah. We had 18 months ago, we had a big new freeze dryer put in, so a 600 kilo freeze dryer.
Whoa,
so we just, for the first 3 years, we just couldn't keep up with demand. We could not make enough meals. Anybody that was buying Real Meals over the last 3 years would know. They would walk into shops or they'd look on the website and stuff would just be out of stock. Yeah. So now we've got the new freeze dryer that's really eased it up for us, so we can put through a lot more product now. Yeah. Which is great.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
So cool. And there's so many different options out there. We've got so many meals, so many different breakfasts, sides. What have I missed? Oh, the kids range.
The youth range, yep. We've got the shakes, we've got the beetroot and carrot salad, we've got the basmati rice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Literally kitted out.
Yeah. Yep.
We love Real Meals. It's one of our absolute favourites because they also taste so good as well as being nutritious. So tell us a bit about like your background. So are you a chef, a trained chef?
Yep. So my background is as a chef. It's actually as a pastry chef. Ooh. So I started my training here in Nelson at the Rutherford Hotel. Okay. When I think I knew I wanted to be a chef when I was 12, and when I was 13, I got a after-school job and weekends doing dishes at the Rutherford. I don't know if you'd be allowed to do that now, 13. And I worked there for a while, and then I got when I left school on the Friday when I was like 16 or whatever it was, and started work there full time on the Monday. Then I went to Wellington, I went to Australia, I moved to Scotland, Ireland, London for a few years, back to Auckland, back to Australia, and then came back to New Zealand 6 years ago.
Wow, you've really lived around.
And all that time, I've always been involved in either hotels or restaurants as a chef, or I've worked in bakeries, chocolate factories, cake factories, biscuit factories. So yeah, always food, always been around food.
Was that a bit of a change then, going from cooking fresh stuff to then coming into more of a freeze-dried?
No, because we're still cooking fresh stuff.
Yeah, true.
So we're still cooking the meals. The freeze drying was something that
to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for the first few weeks, I suppose, couple of months, a lot of the time we'd be putting products into the dryers and just going, oh, let's just cook this meal and dry it and then see what happens. And so it was a real learning process.
Were there any fails? Any absolute fails?
Actually, no,
Oh,
no
that's good.
massive fails. Sometimes it takes a while. Like sometimes when we develop a meal, we'll come up with an idea, and the idea can be we're just tossing around ideas in the kitchen,
Yeah.
or somebody will email in and go, "Hey, it'd be great if you guys could make something that's like this." Or I came back recently from the UK and I had an orzo pasta dish on the plane, and I thought, oh, orzo pasta would actually dry
Yeah.
really well. So that's another thing we've got in the mix. So yeah, we'll just come up, we'll toss these ideas around, we'll make the meal, just in a real small scale, like maybe 1 or 2 kilos, and we'll dry it.
Yeah.
We see how it dries, we see how it rehydrates and how it tastes, and then we develop it from there. So we start small.
Yeah.
We start real small. Sometimes we'll just do something and put it in and go, well, let's just see what happens.
Yeah. See how it comes out.
And yeah, so no, we haven't really had any failures, and sometimes we nail it first time. Like I think the venison casserole.
Yeah.
I think we only did 2 versions of that, and we were really happy with that one. Some of the other ones, like the lasagna, that took a long time.
Okay.
The base was okay, but the cheese sauce, getting the cheese sauce to rehydrate the way you want a cheese sauce to rehydrate, that took a while.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes we nail it first time, other times it's a bit more of a process, but yeah, there's no big secret formula here. We're cooking a meal and we're drying it and rehydrating it and tasting it and then going again.
And then do you perfect it within your team, or then do you put it out to other people?
No,
to
we do it
taste
within
and
the team.
try? Yeah.
So the team's pretty critical,
Yeah.
and everybody's got quite a varied taste range.
Okay.
So some people like it a little bit more salty, some a little bit more seasoning, some a little bit less. We've got a couple of we've got to worry about gluten-free and dairy-free, and
Yeah.
you'll never see any nuts in our product because we got one of our team has anaphylaxis for nuts, so
Okay.
no nuts.
Yeah.
Which is an easy one. Yeah, so we'll cook it. We share it around the team. Once we rehydrate it, everybody puts in their comment,
Yeah.
and we'll go again. And once the team is in the kitchen is pretty happy with it, then we'll make up some samples and then we send them out to the directors or friends and family.
Yeah.
I think we may have even dropped some into you guys on occasions.
We have been lucky and got some samples.
Yeah, and then we field test them. And if everybody's happy with that, we'll look at the comments that come back from that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're like, okay, well, let's go then. Let's launch it. Let's get the packaging ready and the nutritional panel and the testing done
Yeah, and then scale it up.
and scale it up. Yeah.
Oh.
So it can be a real quick process.
Yeah.
Some of them, we've had one that's been on the go now for, nearly 2 years. And I think we're really close to it now.
Oh,
Really
exciting.
close.
I guess you can't tell us what it is.
It's
then.
got, it uses jackfruit.
Oh, okay.
So jackfruit's good,
Yeah.
like loads of fibre,
Yeah.
and the young jackfruit really takes on the flavour of whatever it's with. So we've got some beans in there, and we've got almost like a barbecue style sauce. Not real sticky, but like that nice sweet, sour, vinegary kick to it.
Mm.
So yeah, we're working on that one. That's so close now, and I think that'll actually be vegan. I know it's vegetarian. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it'll be vegan as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we've got a couple of breakfast lines that we're looking at, which will be dairy-free, gluten-free as well.
Oh, amazing.
We've always wanted to do something with coconut yogurt, but it's super expensive, so we're looking at making our own.
Ooh,
So
okay.
Darren and Tina have run a few trials making coconut yogurt, and it's come out really well. But because we're not adding any emulsifiers to it, it makes it a little bit harder to get it to rehydrate. So we're just
Okay.
playing with that at the moment now.
Okay.
Because we
Just
want to keep it real
experimenting.
clean.
Yeah.
We want to keep the ingredient listing clean. Yeah, and then we'll have a coconut yogurt, maybe with some chia seeds and some linseed and some puffed quinoa and maybe some berries in there. So yeah, we've always got stuff on the go, always.
Yeah. So exciting.
It's cool.
We
It's
love
fun.
adding to our range. As always, everyone loves something different when they come in with the real meals. Everyone's got their favourites. What's your favourite dish?
Oh, it's a hard one.
Yeah.
Probably my go-to is the tom kha.
Oh, that's my favourite.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like the
love
tom.
that
I don't
one.
know why. It's just got enough heat in it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of real spicy foods, like real hot foods that burn your lips. But there's just enough in the tom kha.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like just, yeah.
I
that's
really
probably
like
my
that one as
go-to.
well. Because I really like it because it's got your carbs in there as well, like in the meal. It's quite a big portion.
Yeah.
Which is what I like. And it's super tasty. Yeah, it was the favourite. You've recently launched your new gourmet range. So we've got the venison casserole, which is delicious, and we've been absolutely loving this one. Are you planning on doing any more in this gourmet range, do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it sort of opens it up for us now. This
Yeah.
one was always going to be gourmet because of the fact that it uses venison.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a give back in here. So for every kilo of venison that we buy off the Wapi Foundation guys, there's some money that goes back to them to help with their the work that they do.
Yeah.
So that was always going to be a gourmet meal, but it's selling really well. It's really popular, and I mean, there's a lot of people that will just eat that one portion themselves, but we do know that you can split that quite easily. If you mix it with the cheesy mash, it goes really well with the cheesy mash.
Yeah, that's true. That
It goes well with the bacon mash,
Yeah.
and it goes really well with the beetroot and carrot salad.
Ooh,
'Cause
okay.
it's kind of that earthy, sweet thing as well. So
Yeah, so then you could do that and then just split it between the two.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, there's always we haven't got anything in the cards at the moment to go into the gourmet range.
Yeah.
The youth range, we're looking at maybe adding in there a little bit more. And I know that a lot of people sometimes they get confused about the youth range. It's not just for kids.
Yeah.
We kind of developed it for meals that kids would like. So not for fussy eaters, but kids
Just nice and simple recipes that they're going to eat.
that they recognise.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Everybody loves mac and cheese. They love the lasagna. So yeah, it was kind of aimed more that way. But I know there's quite a few people. There's a lot of guys actually down in the Burnham military camp.
Oh,
Some
yeah?
of the guys down there, they love the youth range, even though it's covered in little cartoon characters. But yeah, I think they're tough enough to look after themselves, those guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. This has been so informative. I've learnt so much. One thing I just wanted to touch on is just about, which I didn't ask you this before, so sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, is how to get the best out of your meal when you're eating it on the trail. So sometimes I think people don't always fully read the instructions. So just making sure that you're like fully mixing it properly.
Yeah, mix it really well and give it the full 15 minutes.
Yeah, because they say 10, but if you give it an extra 5, you
Yeah.
bring out the flavours even more so.
10 minutes is generally okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, 15, and do read the back for the water, how much water to put in. And I know a lot of people say to us, oh, you should put fill lines in there. But if you put a fill line in, if you add the water really slowly, it's actually going to take more water than it needs because it's freeze dried, it'll take that water up real quick. So if you add the water slowly, you'll put too much water in. If you add it fast, it'll work, but you got the burn risk as well. So that's why we don't do fill lines, and we try and keep it real simple.
Yeah.
A cup and a half, and you'll learn. You'll learn to judge how much water to go in there. But yeah, give it a really good mix. Close it up after like maybe 5 minutes. Give it a little squeeze in the bag, a little shake around.
Yeah, just get all the corners, the bottom, so you don't get that crunch.
How to get the most out of it? Don't share.
Definitely. And one thing that I love about these, which I didn't realise, I was having a look, is that the bags are completely waterproof. So once you've used it, you can clean it out, and then you've got a waterproof bag there that you can use on trail again. So I was reading about your packaging and how it's trying to get it as eco as possible, and being able to then reuse these, which is a really good idea. You can put your keys or your phone in it if you need an extra waterproof bag when you're out on trail.
And if you can fold the rest of your bags up and use one of them as a rubbish bag, and just fold them up as well. So.
I always do that. That's a good tip. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me in.
Oh, it's been great. Thank you so much. I hope that has been interesting to you. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you haven't tried any of the real meals, definitely recommend giving them a go because they are delicious. And as we know, they are made by some incredible chefs like Jason. All right. Thank you so much for joining, and take care. And we'll see you next time for Chicks and Tips.
See ya.